So we'll talk today about both sides of the equation, keeping your home healthy to keep you healthy, but also you keeping your home healthy. Does that make sense?
Right.
All right. Hello. Welcome to episode 116 of KT Confidential, the real estate podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Ariel Cremendi, and my partner here, Adrian Trott. Good morning.
Welcome. Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm excellent, thank you. Just trying out this new light. I don't know if I look too yellow, orange, or am I okay? It's not as nice as your natural light, that's for sure. I gotta play around with it.
I do have some of the nice filtered light coming in with the snow coming down, so that is probably the best light for video. But yeah, it is what it is, man. I think you and I had this discussion about improving the overall look and quality of the video content for this podcast. But
who would have thought back in, when did we start doing it from home? March or April?
March.
So who would have thought
March of 2020, 10 months in.
Jeez. I never would have thought at that point, 10 months from now, back then, that we would still be doing this.
Yep. And it's probably going to be like this for another 10 months. So
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Hopefully not. Let's get those vaccinations pushed out so we can all get back to normal.
Yep, I agree. Speaking of being healthy, that's what we're talking about tonight.
That was not intentional. That worked out well.
Wow, we're better podcast hosts than we thought. That's what we're talking about today, folks. Is your home healthy?
Now, there's two sides to this, because now when I read the topic, my natural thought was, is your home promoting a healthy environment for you as an individual?
Speaking of healthy, here's a little plug, Village Juicery.
Last time you often do plugs, though, and then 5 minutes later you contradict your plug by saying something like,
No. I only did that once for one of the shitty blankets, one of the crappy weighted blankets I have. But
right. Shout out to this weighted blanket company. They suck, by the way.
No, Village Juicery, some of the best cold pressed juices.
Where do you get it?
Well, here's another plug I'll take back. Mama Earth Organics. So I have
you've mentioned
and
before.
And for a long time I've had Mama Earth deliver our organic fruits and vegetables, and they've gone on to expand into a wider line of product offerings, but they do offer the Village Juicery juices. Yeah, and even though I juice from home on occasion, it's a lot of work and prep, and you need a lot of fruit and vegetables. Like, this is 410 ml of kale, celery, apple, parsley, romaine lettuce, cucumber, dandelion greens, and lemon. So you're
sounds yummy.
It's okay. It definitely gives me the nutrition I need. Like, if I look at the nutritional facts, this is 213% of your daily vitamin A intake requirement, 139% of vitamin C, 845% of vitamin K. Like, all of the numbers are quite good from a vitamin perspective. So when you got the winter blues and you need a little kick, at least that's the way I feel. And if I've been drinking too much in terms of alcohol, I always take a couple of days to do a little bit of self-cleansing. And that usually consists of somewhere between 8 and 10 liters of water a day. And then
a couple of...
Yeah. When I do...
when you do a cleanse.
Yeah. Like what I call a self-cleanse.
Okay. That's a lot of water.
Not really. Not really. Like, so I always drink out of cups. So I'm using here at the office one of these red Solo cups. And as you know, the red Solo cups have their markers, so you know how much liquid is in them. But
Whoa. Hang on.
What?
What do the markers mean specifically? Is there a mark on there that tells you how much that indicates? What volume it is?
So that's why Solo cups are quite popular, especially in outdoor bars and vacation spots. You see all the ribbings.
Yes.
And all that. Yeah, so they tell you how much liquid is actually in the cup. I'd have to Google it to know exactly what it is. But as an example, I know the first one is 1 shot. So if you're pouring a shot into a Solo cup, you pour it up to that first line, and
There's no way that's a shot.
It is. Yeah.
That you think that's 1 ounce?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Google it.
I will.
Anyway, Village Juicery, great juices. So, healthy home means 2 things.
Yeah. So from my perspective, I assumed, I'm thinking air quality, mold, things that affect us as the homeowners, not. But then you had mentioned something along the other side, which is directly related, but more so just maintaining the health of your home in preventing premature wear and tear and extending the life of the house, not just of the owner.
Well, if you think about it, for people that own automobiles, your car goes on a maintenance schedule.
Yeah.
And in order for it to perform its best, it needs proper oil changes, it needs brake maintenance, you're replacing filters in your car, and dealerships do a pretty good job these days of keeping you on track for what's needed on your automobile or in your automobile. But you, as a homeowner, are responsible yourself for maintaining your home. And
actually, that's a good thing we should come up with, is create a more formal maintenance schedule
with some kind of tracking and
like a mileage
notice.
tracker, but not mileage.
Right. That actually would be a pretty good idea. I don't know if it exists or not, if there are apps that do that kind of thing.
I think the challenge with it is there's so many variables, like hoses for washing machines need to be replaced after, well, I'll say 5 years, but if you get a braided line, it could be 10 years. So there's a lot of variables that go into it. So you'd have to do a thorough review of a house before you could determine it.
So we'll talk today about both sides of the equation, keeping your home healthy to keep you healthy, but also you keeping your home healthy. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
So where do you want to start?
And for that, it's, you want your home to serve you well for many years to come. And if you don't take care of it, it will, like any problem, if you don't address them sooner than later, it will become a bigger problem. So as an example, if you are just a generally dirty person and you leave crumbs and messes everywhere, it could attract rodents or bugs. And now, instead of having a bit of dirt to clean up, you have a rodent infestation. So it's important to maintain the cleanliness of your home as well.
Well, let's start off with talking a little bit about keeping you healthy in the house. So that's kind of that segue into that.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, we're in and out of a lot of homes. We meet with a lot of buyers and sellers. We're out showing properties that are not our own or our clients. They're other people's homes. And there's so many things that have become apparent to me as I paid more attention to it over the last number of years. But I can't tell you how many homes I have been in where there is evidence of mold in so many different areas. And you think like these are spores that potentially are airborne now in your home, and you are breathing it in.
Yep.
It's making you sick.
Potentially, absolutely. Well, and people that are, you get a lot of people that have more severe allergies nowadays than I think ever used to be the case. And if you're,
More
and especially
allergies and more aware.
Yes, just more sensitive. I don't know if there's a line that would define the difference between being allergic to something or overly sensitive to something, but I've seen people that react, but aren't diagnosed with specific allergies.
Well, and technology has allowed us to become more educated on those allergies, right? Like 30 years ago, you have a runny nose in February, you think maybe you're coming down with a cold, or you have a runny nose in May and you think, oh, it's something to do with all the greenery coming in outside, outdoors, whatever. But now you can have your home tested, you can have yourself tested, and it'll come back and tell you exactly what those allergies are.
Yeah.
But when we talk about mold, it's there is good mold and bad mold. Obviously, I mean, I'm a blue cheese fan, as you are too. It's mold, right? Like you're eating mold, just like mushrooms are fungus. Like there's things that are fine for you, but when you get black mold around windowsills, as an example, like I see mold very often
especially
around
showers. That's very common. Showers and windowsills.
showers.
I don't know. I can't speak to the effects of it from a health perspective. I mean, obviously it's not good for you, but if it's just sitting there and not being disturbed, it may not be a problem. But I think the bigger issue is that if it's not addressed, it could become an issue. Not only for a health perspective, but also relating back to other things where if you leave mold on a surface for a long time, it contains moisture, which will deteriorate the surface, which for windows, that could be window seals, which means now you've got less efficient windows.
Yeah. And certainly if you're going to prepare your home to sell, you don't want to have mold lurking anywhere in the home. So because windowsills and windows in general are pretty susceptible to mold, certainly in our climate, because you have change of temperatures all the time, inside and outside.
Yeah.
And oftentimes what happens is condensation is created on the window. And when you don't have proper airflow and when you're not wiping it down, that moisture will sit, collect, and eventually mold will appear.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems are stagnant air caused by people not opening their blinds and shutters. Shutters are pretty bad. Or drapes, whatever, just needing to open those up occasionally, keep the fan running. And then not many people are actually actively monitoring the humidity levels in a house, which is a big deal because it can cause that. It can contribute to the growth of mold. It can also, a healthy humidity level will also result in you being less likely to get sick.
Yeah, and it maintains your skin appearance.
Yeah.
Your breathing gets affected by the humidity levels. Your floors, if you have hardwood floors, gets affected by humidity levels. But to your point, that's the biggest culprit, is not having proper airflow to the window itself.
Right.
So shutters are really bad because, first of all, not a lot of windows will get airflow that have shutters on them, because even when they're open, the way they're cased in, like if you tilt it open, the way they're cased in really prevents proper airflow to the window. So you
Right.
actually have to open the full casing of the shutter and open it completely, not just tilt it. And every once in a while, take a rag with I use vinegar and give it a wipe down so it's nice and clean. So there's nothing that any of the moisture can stick to, like in terms of dirt or dust.
Well, and from a resale perspective, a lot of people look at those things. So if you don't
100%.
do it, it's funny how small things like that can be perceived as big issues by buyers, and it makes all of a sudden they assume that the entire house has not been properly maintained, and some people will just cross it off their list before they really give it a chance.
Well,
I'm curious what the humidity is in your house. You have a Nest, right?
yeah, currently it's between 38 and 41% on a regular basis, so it's low.
Yeah, I'm at 38 right now. Well, that's not bad for winter time. I don't think it's practical to maintain 50 in the winter.
No, I'm even lower today, 33%.
Oh yeah, I think you're verging on low, too low.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely dry in our home. This year I was going to have a central humidifier installed, but for obvious reasons, not letting anybody into our house this year. I haven't done that, but yeah, it's low. It's low. But I also have all of the fans on, like the bathroom fans, and I do run the kitchen exhaust fan for a good half an hour every night. So
What's the
I'm
purpose of that?
So at night after I clean, like while Natalie puts the boys to bed and I do some cleaning up, I run all of the fans in the bathrooms run pretty much all the time in the winter time. I think you do the same thing more or less.
I've got one that we're running often.
But then the kitchen exhaust fan I do just to remove any smells, like from the day, from cooking. In the wintertime, you're not opening your windows and doors very much. So you get that kind of stagnant air, and I don't like it. So I run the exhaust fan, and then I turn on my diffuser, my Sage. There's another shout out. Love Sage and their products. My Sage diffuser with some nice essential oils.
Now, have you read the health impacts of those oils? Are they all positive? Or do they have any? Are they all just 100% natural oils?
They're 100% natural oils. They're essential oils. And they're good for you. There's actually scientific results that there are many different types of oils that triggers things in your brain. So as an example, lavender, people know lavender as a calming, kind of soothing scent. But there's a lot of like
What's
eucalyptus. Well, there's blends. Sage has wonderful blends. Right now, they actually have an oil that I run in my bathroom, and I've ran it in the living room and kitchen. This past week is their immune blend. I'm not sure what exactly is in what the ingredients are off the top of my head, but it's an immunity booster, right? Like an immune booster,
right?
And I'm using that right now, but they have one called Refresh, which I use first thing in the morning. So when I'm showering, I'm on I can't remember what you call it when you have a hot shower and then you go to a cold shower.
Yeah, I like that. I don't do it often enough, but I enjoy it.
There's a name for that.
Do you ever follow the Iceman Hoff? I think his name is on Instagram. You should check him out. He's this really interesting guy. He's into just cold ice water baths, and that's all he does. He goes, he'll sit in an ice bath or in a frozen lake for half an hour. And he talks a lot about the benefits of it.
Like the Scandinavian spas, they all preach the hot cold.
Yeah.
So that's what I do every morning is I have a hot shower for 3 to 5 minutes, and then a cold shower for a minute or two. And
I
I
read
run
something
the
like if you do that for stay in the cold shower, finish the shower cold for like 30 seconds, it increases your immune system so that you're about 30% less susceptible to getting cold, catching a cold.
It absolutely is a proven fact that does increase your immune system. It increases your blood flow. So if you have aches and pains, the hot water kind of loosens things up, and the cold water then tightens it. I guess I don't know the correct way to explain that, but yeah, it's proven that those type of showers are good for you. So that's what I do every morning, and I run the refresh diffuser blend in my diffuser in the bathroom, and it's a great way to wake up. So around 5 o'clock every morning, that's what I do. Have a coffee after, do a bit of reading. 5:30 to 5:45, I start working, and 7:30 to 8 o'clock, I take my dog out for a walk for anywhere from a half hour to an hour, and that's how I start every day. In case you wanted to know.
You know what I was thinking of getting in my backyard was like a big barrel, like a wooden wine barrel, and making an ice bath out of it. And you just get one of those little bubblers and stick it in the bottom so it doesn't freeze in the winter.
You go from hot tub to the ice bath?
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. I think it'd be very refreshing.
Why don't you try it by starting off by using your kiddie pool, your kids?
Oh, we got rid of that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we only had it because it was the most accommodating for Carter because he couldn't pop it or rip it.
All right.
So it had served its purpose.
You guys getting another dog?
We will at some point, not for a long time. But when we do, I think we'll get 2 dogs at the same time. And it will be when we have more property.
So you're thinking of moving?
I'm always thinking of moving.
Speaking of home health, pets.
Yeah.
We talk about mold, but when was the last time, for all of you listening, when was the last time you moved your sofa or your bigger furniture pieces, your bed, your sofa?
Behind your media units, those are terrible and extremely susceptible to
every
dust.
Single home I've been in that we have listed, I can almost assure you, if we move your media center, your hutch, or wherever your TV and all the crap that you store around your TV, if we move that, there's enough dust bunnies to give Adrian and I a full set of hair.
Forget that's a good analogy. Forget moving the couch. Lift the cushions.
Yep.
Like even something as simple as that.
Dust is wreaking havoc on homes right across the country. Let me tell you, people are not taking proper care of cleaning with attention to detail, myself included. In fact, here's a tool that everybody should have in their home. It's called what is it called now?
Tell us what it does, and maybe I can think of the name.
It's called a fabric shaver.
Okay. Is it for like the pills on a wool sweater?
Yes.
All right.
It's a fabric shaver, so it looks like
a mini electric razor.
Kind of.
I have one.
But it's almost like a vacuum.
Okay.
So if you get a good one, well, you don't need to spend a lot on it, like $20 or so. You can get it on Amazon. I think I got mine at Shoppers Drug Mart. And so we have a pretty nice couch in our basement. Had it custom designed at Upcountry. There's another full of shutouts today. And it's downfilled. The whole thing is downfilled. And
you're not allergic to that? I'm surprised.
I am not.
Okay.
I actually don't know what type of down it is. I am pretty sure it's either a goose or duck or a blend of the two. But there's always feathers coming out, right? So
yeah.
So I was giving it a vacuum, and of course I opened up or I removed some of the cushions, and we don't even really eat downstairs. Like I try and limit the snacking and that kind of stuff. But sure enough, there's hair, certainly some of Natalie's hair, some crumbs and this and that, and you don't even think about it too much, but it can accumulate real quick. But the fabric shaver is friggin' awesome because it's a fabric couch, little pills, and it drives me nuts. And I used it a couple of days ago, and it works like a charm. So if you want to...
Have you tried a safety razor blade? They work too for that.
I wouldn't trust myself.
Okay.
I mean, that it's an expensive couch and expensive fabric.
Yeah.
All I need is to slip up and put a little slit in there. No thanks. But fabric shaver, if you have a fabric couch, it works beautifully on renewing the look of your sofa. So
let's go back to the air. I want to talk about my little air things here.
Go for it.
All right. So back in, I think it was April or May of last year, Alicia, my wife, she got sick, and she's asthmatic, as are our two girls. So when she gets sick, it often affects her respiratory system. And she was having trouble breathing. Got to a point where she couldn't breathe very well at all. She was getting nervous. So we called an ambulance. She went to the hospital. They treated her, gave her some really strong puffers that were stronger than the usual ones she has. And she came home. And she was bedridden for about a week. So that kind of got me thinking about, and it wasn't COVID. We had the test done. It was not COVID. So, and they couldn't really pinpoint exactly what it was. They thought it was just some coincidental viral respiratory infection. But it got me thinking, because the air we breathe on a daily basis, especially right now because we're home all the time, we don't really pay attention to it, right? Like nobody really knows what's in their air. And then not long ago, I think it was last year. So in November, December, I was at a revisit of a property with a buyer, and he brought a contractor, and the contractor brought up radon. And saying that in the construction industry, there's talk of old construction guys dropping dead for unknown reasons. And then a number of them that would make you curious as to maybe there's some sort of consistent problem. Anyway, so then I knew of radon, but I didn't really know much about it. And here, I'll read it just quickly. Radon is a radioactive gas that comes from the breakdown of uranium in soil and rock. It is invisible, odorless, and tasteless. When radon is released from the ground into the air, it is diluted and not a concern. However, in enclosed spaces like homes, it can accumulate to high levels. Now, there are certain areas in the country, throughout the world, where the likelihood of having that gas is higher. I
have a story about that. I'll talk about it when you're done, about my most recent purchase in Guelph.
Okay. Next to smoking, it is the number one leading cause of lung cancer, which is interesting because you'd think that, I mean, even in our industry, it's not spoken of a whole lot, but for something to be the number two leading cause of lung cancer and to not get much attention and discussion is interesting. So anyways, I went on the search to find out, well, how can I see what the levels are at in my house and just the general air quality? So I found this company. I can't say much about it because I haven't installed it yet, but the company's called Air Things. So here's the box. And I bought a kit. So there's a few sensors. So this one,
Are you doing an unboxing on our Instagram?
I'll do. Yeah, that's why I haven't installed it. I've had this for maybe 3 weeks, just sitting on my counter. So there's this sensor is the bigger one. So this one measures the the temperature, humidity, CO2, VOCs, air pressure, which interests me, and radon. So with radon, you can get radon tests where you put a sensor in your house or like a sponge or something, and you send it off to a lab after a few weeks. But they say that that's not a very good way to do it because you could be exposed to high levels for a short period of time. It's not a big deal. It's more what are the averages over the course of a long period of time. So this will tell me that. So that'll be interesting. And then these little sensors.
I'm quite interested in that. I'm going to look into it myself. How is it installed? Like, what is it? Is it a hub and then you put sensors around the house, or?
Well, this is the hub.
Okay.
So this allows everything to connect, and then you can access it over Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And these, they're magnetic. They have a mount that's screwed into the wall and they attach with magnets. They're run with regular batteries. I don't know what kind of batteries, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. You'd think they'd have lithium ion or something by now, but that's that sensor. And then these smaller sensors, I don't know if these might have been a waste of money. They're $100 each. I got 3 of them, and you can stick them throughout the house, and they measure the humidity, temperature, and VOC. So VOCs are like off gases from things like cleaners, paints, urethane, candles, stuff like that. Probably, I don't imagine there's going to be very high readings for that stuff in our house. But
now, would you be able to have one of those sensors and then just move it around the house?
Yeah, sure, you could.
Yeah. How much is the kit?
Well, the kit, you can buy a kit, I think for $4.99. It comes with the big sensor and one of the little ones and the hub. But it's the old version of the big sensor. So there's a couple things it doesn't read. Like I don't think it reads air pressure, which I was interested to know because that'll tell you if you have positive or negative. So whether you're pushing air out or drawing air in. So I wanted to get that. So I ended up spending about $600 or $650 for the whole set.
So what type of an air pressure reading is going to cause you to make changes? Like what are you looking for there? I'm not too familiar with air pressure in homes.
Yeah. Well, I guess
other than the fact that if you're pushing air out, it means you've got a lot of shitty windows and doors, which wouldn't surprise me in our homes.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a balance of if positive is better than negative, or if there's a balance where you're neutral. I mean, with homes nowadays, especially new construction homes, are so tightly built, they should be, that you probably have a more neutral air pressure, I would think. But our house, like I know for a fact, our front door, our side door, they're terrible. Like I can see through them when they're closed. So depending on the air pressure, I'm for sure either to one extreme or the other. So if you're, I don't know, I'll have to do some research. I'll find out where it's at, and then I'll look and see how you can fix that.
So if you have gaps around your doors, why haven't you replaced the seals around them to prevent those gaps?
I tried once and I found the gap was just the way it was. It was very hard to seal without interfering with the function of the door.
Because of the actual size of the door and the frame, like the way it all comes together kind of thing?
It's just a piece of shit builder door. Yeah.
Right.
So I think realistically I'd want to replace it, but I haven't got around to. That's probably, a half decent double door replacement on a house is probably $5,000. Big expense to replace something.
Well, you could probably do it for as little as $200 to $2,500, but as much as sky's the limit.
Yeah,
sky's the limit, right? We're going to be listing a home probably sometime in March, and when I helped them purchase the home a few years ago, the seller had replaced the front door and the side light and the transom light, transom window, and he paid over, I want to say it was pretty close to $12,000.
Wow.
But when you open this door and you look at the hardware,
Oh yeah. I
like,
love nice doors like that.
you know that ain't a cheap door.
Yeah.
And there's no light or air coming through there. I can assure you that.
Yeah. Those are nice from a safety perspective too, I would think, because they latch at 2 or 3 different or more
Yep.
spots, right?
Yeah. You got to
My
think,
door, if you
right?
just,
Like,
if my 5 or 6-year-old daughter kicked the door, she could probably kick it in.
oh, no question about it. Furnace filters, something as simple as replacing your furnace filter and
Yeah.
knowing the size of your furnace filter. Can't remember off the top of my head what ours is, 16 by 20?
20, 24, 22, something like that. I can't remember.
the preacher.
Alicia does that. I'm sure that comes as no surprise.
Replacing that on a regular basis, especially now that you're home more often, like, think about the usage of your home now compared to 12 months ago. You're working from home, you're living from, well, obviously you're living at home, but you're working from home.
Before we more or less lived at the office.
Well, and before you were going on vacations, maybe you would stay at a friend's house or, visit with family and stay over for a week or a weekend or whatever. But now you're just at home all the fucking time. So your home is getting more use. So just like your car, when it gets used more often and more mileage put on it, you're going to replace your oil more frequently. No different than your home. So even though you should replace your filter, some people say once a month. I do mine every season, so every 3 months. But lately, I've been changing them a little bit more frequently because we are at home all the time. So that's something to consider. Same thing with your filters in your fridge. If you're drinking more water, if you're using more ice, or just opening and closing the fridge more often, it might need newer filters. And then your smoke and CO detectors, making sure that they have not expired, and making sure that they are in good working order. Relating to all of this, and kind of a mold thing as well, is popping up into your attic and checking out, do you have any rodents? Right, this is the time of year where mice and rats and raccoons and squirrels, they're looking for homes, right? And if you have a home that has gaps around doors and windows and caulking missing and things like that, they will find those little crevices and climb up into your attic to stay nice and warm. So, have a peek up there. Is there any mold? Mold can develop in an attic real quickly if you don't have proper ventilation, or if the ventilation is blocked. If there's any leaks. So if you had a shingle fly off the roof because it was a windstorm, and you didn't notice it, and all of a sudden there's a little trickle of water in there, that can turn into mold pretty quickly.
Well, there's many houses we've been into where during home inspections we would find that the vents for the bathroom fans on the second level, which often run through the attic to the roof, they've fallen off and disconnected. So at that point, every time you have a shower, you're venting humid air right into the attic, and that will inevitably cause problems. I was up in mine recently, actually.
What'd you find?
Nothing. It was good. But I went up, remember, I didn't record it. I should have, but it was, I fixed that fan. Remember that lingering problem we talked about? And
you fixed it. Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm going to record the next
episodes ago.
I'm going to clean the other one in our other bathroom. So I took it down and...
so you went up into your attic?
No. I went up to the attic afterwards because I was curious which way it vented out.
Oh, I see.
Because I couldn't... I think it actually vents sideways right at the side because I don't see a vent going up at all. Anyways, but I took it down to clean it, and it was the reason for those listening. It rattled like crazy, and I've put up with it for going on 10 years now. So I took it down, I removed the fan component. I removed the housing for it, so it was just a box with a hole for the vent, and I put an extra screw in that because it was loose. It was only screwed in on one side, which I think is common. I don't know that that was the problem, but I put an extra screw in. But the fan itself, even though we vacuum the thing once I don't know, once or twice a month, or whenever we clean, we'll get up there and vacuum all the dust and dirt off of the vent cover. But inside, it was filthy dirty. Like the actual fan itself had tons of dust build up, which I'm sure is going to contribute to it not functioning properly. So airflow is going to be reduced. Maybe it throws the balance off a little bit at some point. Maybe that's excessive, but maybe not. And anyway, so I took it all apart, removed the fan, cleaned it up, put it back together, and it works well. And then I went into the attic to see what was up there, and it was fine.
So bathroom fans are actually a breeding ground for a lot of different types of mold, bacteria, and dirt and dust. Because if you think about what lingers in your bathroom, the number one thing that would cause any of that would be moisture. And if you're in the habit of having hot showers, you're pushing steam in there quite often, right? Or if you're like me and you have hot showers and you're running some essential oils when they vape, the vapors actually carry molecules of that oil within it, so it leaves a residue. So now that residue is attaching itself to that bathroom fan, and now anything getting sucked up to that fan is getting stuck in there. So you gotta give it a good cleaning every once in a while. And for those of you that do your own cleaning at home and don't have cleaners coming in, I mean, certainly now a lot of people have eliminated bringing third-party people into the home and cleaners and whatnot. But baking soda and vinegar are the only two things that you need to clean your home. You don't need anything else. I don't care what anybody says. If baking soda, vinegar, salt, and lemon, out of those four things, if you cannot clean your entire home with those four things, I don't know, you must be really dirty. But
unless you're trying to kill like viruses, that won't kill, let's say, like the COVID-19 virus. It won't kill that. But for general purposes, I agree.
Nobody has proven that one way or another. But cleaning vinegar is pretty powerful stuff. I don't know if you use cleaning vinegar or regular vinegar, but
we use regular vinegar.
Yeah, well, cleaning vinegar is like twice the power of regular vinegar. And I'm telling you, the glass in the showers never been cleaner.
But you need to be careful. Some surfaces are not good with that. Like certain stones are bad. You could damage your stones and wood.
Potentially, but you could also damage it with the shitty ass chemicals you would buy in.
No, I know. I'm just saying, yeah, for sure. You always want to be cognizant of what you're putting on, what sort of chemicals you're putting on material.
You talk about COVID and cleaning and shit like that. If vinegar can kill bacteria in a kitchen, like salmonella, right? Like when the regulatory people for commercial kitchens go in to do their inspection, the only thing they're looking for is to make sure that you are properly cleaning and that your surfaces are cleaned when it comes to just upkeep and cleaning. That's what they're looking for. And the only thing that you need to do in a commercial kitchen, you have a spray bottle, with a tablespoon of vinegar, and the rest is water. And that kills all of your. So who knows? I don't know if any testing's been done if it works on COVID.
This is a .com website, not like a .org or anything, but it says vinegar doesn't work well as a disinfectant. According to EPA standards, a disinfectant should be able to kill 99.9% of disease-causing bacteria and viruses. Vinegar only works against some germs like E. coli and Salmonella.
Right.
So for most common household things that people should be concerned about, especially food-related, it's very effective.
And in bathrooms, I would say it's good enough. Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing to keep your home COVID safe?
Wash our hands a lot every time we come and go. We're very aware of when we bring things into the house. If we don't need to use them for a while, we'll just let them sit in the garage for a few days or a week, whatever. Groceries coming into the house, Alicia will make sure they're, clean before she puts them away still.
Are you using any like Lysol wipes or anything to wipe things down?
That's not much different than before. Alicia's always been a bit of a germaphobe, so she's been very on the ball with cleaning surfaces regularly and things like that. I think there's a fine line, though. I think it's to a detriment if it's excessive, because I think your body needs some exposure to germs in order to build an immunity to it. Otherwise, at some point, you will be so susceptible to it and not exposed enough that even the slightest germ will wreak havoc on your system. I'm far from qualified to say that, but that's just the way I would think.
I historically would get sick twice a year.
Yeah.
I have not been sick now at all with anything.
Yeah.
For, I want to say 16 months. So almost a year and a half of no colds, no flu, no, knock on wood, no nothing. Feeling good.
And you will until you go outside. Once the world's back to normal, everybody's going to get sick all at the same time.
Well, I don't know. Like the amount of the flu virus going around must have drastically dropped this year and the past year.
There was next to no cases of it. It was, that was a big controversial conversation. There was virtually no flu recordings and COVID was up.
Right.
So I don't know enough about to speak to it, but
does the flu potentially, or a lot of the strains because there's so many different strains, do a lot of those strains kind of disappear because of people wearing masks and taking proper precautions? Never know.
Maybe.
This is what episode again is this? 116.
I think it's 116. 116 KT Confidential. If you've made it this far, subscribe. Posting every Monday morning.
Anything else to talk? Like, we've kind of gone a little bit all over the map, so apologize for that. Having a good chat today with my partner, my neighbor, my business partner, KT Confidential, episode 116. Next episode, what are we talking about in the next episode? How to do your own home inspection. That's what's up
we're also
for the next.
We also need to have a brief discussion on the Milton Logistics.
Hub. Yes. You wanted to talk about the Milton Logistics CN Hub. The hub. Yeah.
We will talk about that in a couple of weeks.
Coming to Milton.
That's
8th. A hot topic in Milton. That's a hot topic in Milton. It's on everybody's minds that live certainly in Milton, and for sure those that live in the area of Britannia and Tremaine to Britannia and Brawny and in that vicinity, also known as the Hawthorne South Village neighborhood or the new neighborhood surrounding it. There's a lot of builders with a lot of land.
Yeah.
Right smack dab where this intermodal is going to come. So we're going to chat about that in episode 117. Anything else you want to talk about with Healthy Home?
No, that's it. I think it's just I'm kind of on this healthy home trend right now. So I'll do a little unboxing and I'll let everyone know how these sensors work out for me. But it's interesting to know. So I want to monitor and see what we can do around the house to improve things. Especially because my two girls, my wife, they have asthma and allergies. So between those two things, I think it's something to be aware of.
But here's my question for you, because I've actually looked a lot into air purification systems. And at one point, I had even mentioned buying one for our office.
Mm-hmm.
If you are that concerned about their breathing, their health, and you've gone to the extent of having monitoring systems to see what's happening in the home, how come you haven't invested in some sort of air purification?
Well, it doesn't make sense to purify air that doesn't need to be purified. So I think thank you. I think the first step is to figure out if it needs to be.
Did you just get a coffee made for you?
I did. Yeah.
At home service, eh?
Well, that's to justify to the CRA why she's getting paid.
Right. You didn't pay her last year. Come on. So someone asked me that. They're like, something about radon. It was a conversation I was having with somebody, but yeah, I believe it's important to know what you need to fix before you try to fix it, right? Same as anything. So I think this is a good starting point to test the air and see if it needs to be done, and if so, what would be the most effective method of addressing that problem, because air purifiers are very expensive. Like Dyson has one. It's a freestanding unit, and it's $1,000. It's not cheap. I think you're paying for the name on that one, though.
I have the Dyson vacuum we've talked about. I'm not particularly happy with it, so I think there's a lot of perceived value with that name.
I've got 3 Dyson products. The handheld cordless,
the hair dryer.
I think I heard the hair dryer is actually quite good, but I won't tell you where on my body I use that. No, the cordless vacuum, the handheld. What are they called?
Yeah, that's what I have.
DV3 or who the hell knows. Anyway, like it's a piece of shit.
Well, you know what though, with that, there's actually, I'm trying to find it. There's an adapter, because when you say it's a piece of shit, assuming we're talking about the same problem, is the battery life is garbage. If you have it on high speed, you're done in 3 to 5 minutes, if that.
Less.
Yeah. So there's an adapter you can buy. I saw on Amazon. So you can use other battery packs, such as the strong batteries that I have for tools. So you could use these big 5-amp batteries on it with this simple adapter. So I'm trying to find one that works with Makita batteries, and I'm going to give it a try.
I did not know that.
Yeah. My warranty on the vacuum is long gone. So if I fry it, then that's fine.
The one Dyson product that I have that I really enjoy, which is up at the cottage, is the bladeless fan.
Yeah, those are cool. I've never used one.
Oh, it's awesome. And let me tell you, the kids have thrown it, kicked it. It's standing up to all of the abuse.
Yeah.
But basically, it's this big plastic circle, and it pushes out air like better than any bladed fan I've ever used.
Safer too.
Yeah. Well, no blades,
we have one
right?
at Alicia's family cottage where it's an old school one with like these metal blades, and the safety cover you could stick your arm through.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Well, that's why I got it, was because of the kids. And you can control the temp. It's got a remote, but you can also download the app and connect it to your app. And from the app, you can adjust the time, like a timer for it. You can adjust the temperature. So you can do cool, you can do warm, whatever. It's got a little kind of like a night light you can adjust. You can do the oscillation and change the way it oscillates, or stop it at any point, all from the app. So it's that was a good purchase. But I want to say that was $400 or so.
Yeah,
maybe
for sure it would be
in that vicinity. Anyway, episode 116 of KT Confidential. Thank you for listening to us. I'll call this one kind of like a coffee chat. This was like a coffee chat today, and pretty fitting for a snowy morning. So
I'm looking forward to getting my snowblower out.
Well, you can go over and blow mine for me too then.
I will give you a good blowing later.
Thank you. You guys have a great day. Please like, subscribe, and throw us a comment if you want a topic discussed. Again, next week we are going to be talking about, or in the next episode, depends on when you're listening to this, I guess, but in episode 117, we're going to be chatting about the Milton Logistics Hub. Again, that's a topic that is on everybody's minds that's in Milton. So if you want to specific chat, us to chat specifically about something regarding that, leave us a comment and let us know. And we'll also be talking about how you can do your own home inspection. So right now, a lot of people are having to buy homes without home inspections. So we're going to give you some tips on what you can look for to alleviate some potential issues. So there you go. Episode 116. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.